Shi Yongui found me in my 3rd year of captivity. I still hadn't borne the old bachelor a son or a daughter, and he was in the process of throwing me into a pit to bury me alive. The blood seeping from my lower body stained the yellow earth piled around my waist red. Shi Yonggui's eyes were bloodshot as he frantically dug through the thick earth, clutching me tightly to his chest. His scalding tears soaked my shoulders and neck. After he took me home through his daily displays of tenderness and gentle persuasion, I finally agreed to marry him. Before the wedding, I went to find Shi Yongui and overheard a conversation between his mother and him. Yue Shu has already married into the Eastern Palace. Why must you bring Lin Shuhe back? She was sold to a remote mountain village to serve as a wife for 3 years. Yet you don't find her tainted and still wish to bring her back to the mansion. Aren't you afraid she'll discover that she was originally designated as the crown princess? That you conspired with slave traders to abduct her so Yue Shu could take her place? Aside from Yue Shu, it makes no difference to me whom I marry. Besides, Shuhe has always loved me, and she wouldn't be happy married into the Eastern Palace. I feel guilty toward her for this. I might as well spend the rest of my life making it up to her. Shi Yongui looked utterly despondent. But she can't bear children, Shi's mother said anxiously. Rest assured, mother. The birth mother of the Shi family's legitimate son would never be a woman of loose morals. So the redemption I thought I'd found was actually the demon dragging me into the abyss. The peach blossom pastries in my arms were still steaming, yet I felt as though I'd been plunged into an ice cave. The servant's hesitant voice rang out. Young master, are you really going to spread the news throughout the capital that Miss Lin was molested and humiliated by an old bachelor in some remote backwater? She is your betrothed. When this comes out, it won't just be the Lin family's reputation that's tarnished. It will be yours as well. I promised Yue Shu that she could live peacefully as crown princess. As soon as Shuhe returns to the capital, the crown prince will send men to the Lin household to gather intelligence. Only when her reputation is utterly ruined will the crown prince give up on her. Shi Yongui ran his fingers over the mated bird's pendant I had given him, his movements gentle as if the object in his hand were a priceless treasure, yet his words were cold and heartless. What a disgrace. Are you willing to destroy the Xie family's century-old reputation for the sake of one woman? Lady Shi stamped her foot in anger. Mother, please calm down. Zi Yongui helped his mother sit down. Shuhe is kind-hearted. Once the rumors spread, she will surely be overcome with shame and come to the Shi family to call off the engagement. At that point, we'll go with the flow and demote her from wife to concubine, keeping her at the estate. This will fulfill her affection for our son, and outsiders will only praise the Shi family for our magnanimity in setting aside past grievances and honoring the marriage pact. Exactly. Then I'll select a noble lady from the capital to be your proper wife. That would be most fitting. Shi's mother nodded in satisfaction. The choice Si Yongui thought he was making for me was in fact the very hand pushing me into the fire. How could he possibly think I wouldn't be happy marrying into the Eastern Palace? What could be more painful than a life spent fighting over food with a pig for 3 years and personally aborting 5 fetuses? What had I done to deserve such heartless treatment from him? My only mistake was falling in love with him, which led him to take everything I did for granted. Even my fall from crown princess to his concubine was merely his charity. How utterly ridiculous. I would never accept someone who tramples on my true feelings. I crumpled the peach blossom pastry in my hand into dust, its heat burning my palm. Ouch. Snapping back to reality, I hurriedly let go, scattering the crumbs across the floor. Shi Yongui, who had heard the sound from the other side of the low wall, rushed over. When he saw it was me, he paused for a moment, then curved his lips into a smile and strode toward me. When did you arrive? The sun is beating down outside. What if you'd gotten heat stroke? Thoughtfully, he took out a handkerchief to wipe the sweat from my forehead, then gently tucked the stray strands of hair behind my ears. I just arrived. It's a shame I didn't hold the peach blossom pastries steady. I lowered my gaze to hide the hatred in my eyes. He glanced briefly at the pastries, now shattered into several pieces, then gently cupped my hands, blowing on them with concern. If you want something to eat, have the servants go buy it. Besides, you have peach blossom allergy. You shouldn't eat these. Have you forgotten your dietary restrictions after 3 years away from the capital? I raised my eyes to meet his. The crown prince is mistaken. I've loved peach blossom pastries since I was a child. It's not me who's allergic to peach blossoms. Who exactly are you thinking of? He shifted his gaze away, looking guilty. Perhaps I was mistaken. I recall that Sister Yue Shu would break out in a rash every time the peach blossoms bloomed. Has the crown prince been thinking of Sister Yue Shu? I stared at him with a mocking gaze. Shuhe, watch your tongue. He shook off my hand, his expression stern. Yue Shu is the crown princess. How dare you make such baseless assumptions? Do not slander her reputation so carelessly. Reputation? I asked innocently, arching my eyebrows. Is that really so important? A woman's reputation is more important than heaven itself. If others heard what you just said, how could Sister Yue Shu possibly hold her ground in the Eastern Palace? He lectured me with righteous indignation, but a moment later, as if remembering something, his tone suddenly softened as he took my hand. Shuhe, I didn't mean anything by it. Don't read too much into it. Yue Shu is different from you. The East Palace is full of predators. The slightest misstep could give someone ammunition to stir up trouble. With me protecting you, you naturally have nothing to worry about. I really didn't want to see his hypocritical face, so I made a few evasive remarks and found an excuse to leave. After leaving the Shi residence, the looks people gave me on the street grew increasingly strange. As I walked into a secluded alley, several debauched young men in fine silk robes emerged from the shadows and blocked my path. Oh, isn't this Miss Lin? Come play with us, young lady. What do you want? Get lost. Xiaokui stepped in front of me to block them, but she was tossed aside like a little chick. Don't worry, young master here isn't like those hicks from the backwoods who eat for free and don't pay. A money pouch was tossed at my feet, and the crowd burst into laughter. Miss Lin has been stuck in the mountains entertaining old men for so long. She probably has no idea how fierce the young men of the capital are in bed. Today, I'll open your eyes, Miss Lin. Several men approached me with leering grins. The nightmare returned. Countless nights of lewd laughter mixed with the violent pounding on the door had dragged me into the abyss, time and time again. I struggled to steady my trembling body and drew the dagger I carried with me. Come any closer and I'll call the authorities. The news of Miss Lin surrendering herself to a lowly commoner, losing her virtue and honor, has spread throughout the capital. Even if it goes to court, it will be you, Lin Shuhe, who seduced the son of a nobleman, deluding yourself into thinking you could climb the social ladder, a disgrace to all. What are you pretending, Miss Lin? Aren't you more skilled at this than any of us? Don't run. I was pinned against the wall as they tried to tear off my clothes right there in broad daylight, in the middle of the street. That's right. The Lin family had long since disowned me. If Shi Yunggui hadn't stood in front of me to block them, even if I'd been rescued and taken home, I would have had to die to preserve my virtue. No one would stand up for me, so they had no qualms. Only by standing on my own 2 feet could I save myself. Wait, I'll take them off myself, I cried out, my voice trembling. Perhaps finding it novel and thrilling, they released me and surrounded me in the corner with keen interest. Miss Lin knows her place. Go ahead. My hand reached for my waist, about to pull out the sleeping powder I carried for self-defense, when a sharp shout rang out from ahead. Get lost. Shi Yunggui, furious, kicked the men surrounding me aside, grabbed the ringleader, the one causing the most trouble, and pinned him to the ground, beating him mercilessly. Shi Yunggui, why are you getting so worked up over a fallen woman? She took off her clothes and threw herself at us, someone shouted in protest, only to be pinned to the ground and beaten mercilessly by Shi Yunggui. The others were intimidated by his brutality and dared not speak another word. If the servants hadn't pulled Shi Yunggui away in time, someone might have been killed. Sister, are you all right? Chen Yueshu stepped down from the palanquin and pulled me close, checking me up and down. You really should know better. How could you go out with just one mate? If Prince Yai and I hadn't happened to pass by and found Xiaokui today, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Hearing Chen Yueshu's voice, Shi Yunggui regained his composure, and his expression gradually softened. He walked straight past me, frantically pulling the veil over Chen Yueshu's face, glancing around anxiously as if afraid someone might catch a glimpse of her true features. Quick, get back into the palanquin. We mustn't let anyone see you and start rumors. It's all right, I was just worried about you. Chen Yueshu patted Shi Yunggui's hand to comfort him. Then, she took my hand and spoke softly. Little sister, I know you only said those words just now to get yourself out of that situation, but you mustn't be so careless in the future. If word gets out, it will damage the reputations of both the Lin and Shi families. She was referring to that line. I'll get out on my own. Before I could speak, Shi Yunggui gave me a displeased once-over, scanning me from head to toe. Only after confirming my sash was intact did he quietly let out a sigh of relief. Shuhe has always been timid by nature. Her resolve doesn't match yours. It's only natural that she'd choose to protect herself first when faced with danger. Chen Yueshu cast a beaming glance my way, then supported by Shi Yunggui's hand, stepped into the palanquin. Watching them fade into the distance, I collapsed against Xiaokui as if all my strength had left me. Miss, why didn't you ask the Crown Prince to send a carriage to take us home? There are so many people staring at us on the street right now. He wouldn't do that. I clenched my teeth. He's such a considerate man. He knows full well that the Lin family has cast me aside and repeatedly cut back on my food, clothing, and daily necessities. In the past, whenever I returned, he would have a carriage ready and personally help me inside. His behavior today is nothing more than a way to punish me for first belittling Chen Yueshu at the Shai residence, and then speaking frivolously in public, bringing shame upon him. The whip marks on my back throb with a dull ache, the Lin family's punishment for tarnishing their reputation. After Shi Yunggui brought me back to the capital, a white silk sash was originally sent to my room, but then Shi Yunggui came to propose marriage. Who is Shi Yunggui? The eldest son of the Duke of Duan, a 100-year-old noble family, the Crown Prince of Shi. Minister Lin's tense expression instantly broke into a broad smile. Without even asking for my consent, he hastily agreed to the marriage. Having already been broken, I refused to consent, and was locked in the ancestral hall to endure yet another round of torment. That day, the white silk had already been hung from the beam when Shi Yunggui burst in and carried me down. What nonsense about innocence. In my heart, you're worth far more than Shuhe. Under his daily barrage of tenderness and persuasion, I gradually let go of my resentment and agreed to marry him. Little did I know that all the suffering I had endured was his doing. For the sake of the woman he cherished most, he didn't hesitate to ruin me, causing my family to reject me and the world to despise me. When I returned to the Lin residence, Chen Yueshu and Shi Yunggui were chatting happily with my father in the front courtyard. Chen Yueshu is my aunt's daughter. When my mother was alive, she and my aunt had a strained relationship and rarely saw each other. After my mother's passing, my aunt began visiting more often with Chen Yueshu, and I gradually grew closer to her. Watching them laugh and joke together, they seemed closer than I was to my own father. Upon seeing me, my father's beaming expression instantly turned sour. Disobedient daughter, you have the nerve to come back. You've brought nothing but shame upon me. Disregarding the others present, my father strode over and delivered a hard slap across my face. Uncle, Shuhe, is the victim. Shi Yunggui shielded me behind him. No matter what rumors are circulating, I will definitely marry Shushi. Things were fine until today. You people knew about this. But now the whole capital is abuzz with it. Even if the crown prince agrees, the Shi family's century-old reputation and the clan leader would never allow a woman who has brought shame upon the family to enter our doors. Father slammed his hand down on the table in fury. Shuhe, why didn't you just stay home? Why do you always have to run off? Now look, this scandal has spread throughout the capital. How is Shuhe supposed to hold his head high in the Eastern Palace? My aunt's reproach came crashing down on me. Upon hearing that Chen Yueshu had been dragged into this because of me, father's expression darkened even further. Bring the family rod. It's all my fault. I stole my sister's marriage. If I had married into the Eastern Palace and become the crown princess, my sister wouldn't be trapped by this scandal. Chen Yueshu stepped in front of me, covering her face with a handkerchief as she sobbed softly. Father sighed, glaring at me with disappointment. If anyone is to blame, it's her own lack of ambition. She was clearly a bride-to-be, yet she insisted on running off on a whim. I bit my lip and tried to protest softly, but father cut me off with a sharp command. Silence, have you no shame? It was always like this. They were allowed to harp on my mistakes over and over in my ear, yet I wasn't permitted a single word of defense. The slightest defiance would earn me, at best, a slap across the face, at worst, the family's disciplinary rod. 3 years ago, Chen Yueshu ran away from the Lin household in a fit of pique against my aunt. Shi Yunggui, frantic with worry, sent me a message saying that since we were such close sisters, if I stepped in to mediate, it would surely ease the rift between Chen Yueshu and my aunt. I should have noticed sooner. At what point had Shi Yunggui's gaze shifted from me to Chen Yueshu? The peach blossom pastries, once reserved solely for me, never appeared before me again after Chen Yueshu broke out in a rash from eating one. When he learned I was to marry into the Eastern Palace, he was both furious and frantic. I had thought he couldn't let go of me, but little did I know he was angry that I was taking the glory meant for his beloved. He went so far as to lie to lure me to the outskirts, where I was abducted. The 3 years that followed felt like a living hell. Your marriage to the crown prince was personally decreed by the empress. What business is it of anyone else's? Shi Yunggui joined in comforting Chen Yueshu. Sir, it's terrible. A servant rushed in frantically, followed by an elderly bachelor clutching a child. Seeing the man who had tormented me day and night for 3 years, my whole body began to shake uncontrollably again. I slowly backed away, only to bump into a wall of flesh. Shi Yunggui wrapped his arm around my waist, cutting off my retreat. I turned to look at Shi Yunggui questioningly. Hadn't he already handed that old bachelor over to the authorities? Given the Shi family's prestige, which local official wouldn't seize the chance to curry favor? Anyone handed over personally by the Xie heir would be skinned alive, if not executed. Yet here stood the very culprit, standing right before me, unscathed. By then, the old bachelor had approached, still holding the child. Upon seeing me, he grinned, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. Hey, wifey, look what I found, the kid. He held a baby girl still swaddled in her cradle up in front of me. I looked at Shi Yunggui as if pleading for help, hoping he would make him let go of me. But he acted as if he didn't see me. His hand around my waist held me so tightly I couldn't move an inch. He glanced casually at the infant and said, "She does seem to have a few of Shuhe's features." His words struck like a bolt of lightning, and everyone in the courtyard turned their gaze to me and the child. She gave birth to her. Of course she looks like her, the old bachelor said, oblivious to the tense atmosphere, still beaming with pride as he boasted about having a daughter with me. Get out, father gasped, clutching his chest in fury. Chen Yueshu quickly helped him sit down and soothed him. Throw this disobedient daughter out. From now on, I'll pretend I never had her, and that bastard throw them both out. Just as the servants were about to act, Shi Yunggui gave a derisive chuckle, took the infant from them, and cradled her in his arms, playing with her. I find this baby utterly adorable. If she truly is Shu's child, we shall welcome her into the Shi family. I shall treat her as my own flesh and blood. That's my daughter. Give her back to me, the old bachelor shouted and lunged to snatch her away. But the servants, who had stood by passively when I was cornered earlier, pinned him down at Shi Yunggui's signal. She's not mine. I've never given birth, I explained. Don't be afraid, little sister. If the child is yours, neither the Lin nor the Shi family lacks a mouth to feed. We mustn't let pride prevent us from acknowledging our own flesh and blood. Chen Yueshu gripped my arm tightly, forcing me to face the infant. Sister, just look. What a lovely child. After all, the child is innocent. She bore a slight resemblance to me, but there was no way she could be my flesh and blood. Every time I became pregnant, I went to great lengths to bathe in cold water, eat rotten food, and throw myself from heights to miscarry. The stillborn was revived. The old bachelor's words struck me like a thunderbolt. A stillborn, alive, because of my previous attempts to abort the child through all sorts of means. During my last pregnancy, I was chained in the pigsty for 9 months, with not a single way out, most likely because I was constantly depressed and when hungry, the child was stillborn. How could it have come back to life? It wasn't dead to begin with. The doctor examined it and revived it. The moment the child was born, the old bachelor glanced at it, a baby girl, and tossed it aside without a second thought, dragging me toward the pit to bury it. He had no time to take the child to a doctor. Clearly, someone had done this on purpose. Overcome by rage, I fainted on the spot. In my daze, I heard people talking beside me. Brother Yunggui, word has already spread that my sister has a child with a lowly commoner. We must send the two of them away immediately, lest my sister wake up and be heartbroken. No, the child cannot be sent away. I had someone revive her precisely so she could remain by Shuhe's side, serving as a constant reminder of everything she has endured. She must recognize her true place and not delude herself into thinking she can compete with you for favor. But this is too much to ask of you. For my sake, you not only have to marry Lin Shuhe, whose reputation is in tatters, but also accept her bastard child. It's not worth it. Chen Yueshu's voice trembled with tears. You saved my life. To create the antidote that saved me, you personally tested the medicine, damaging your heart meridians. I've been tormented by guilt ever since. As long as you live safely and securely in the Eastern Palace, I'll do anything willingly. Only by keeping Lin Shuhe firmly by my side will the Crown Prince's heart remain unwavering. Chen Yueshu couldn't even identify herbs. How could she possibly concoct an antidote? Back then, when the Shi family was hunted down by enemies, Shi Yunggui was struck by a poisoned arrow, and even the imperial physicians were at a loss. I'd studied medical principles by my mother's side since childhood. For Shi Yunggui's sake, I stayed up all night, poring over medical texts and brewing the antidote. Finally, I managed to concoct the antidote, but after testing it on myself so many times, the poison damaged my heart meridians. When I rushed to the Shi residence with the antidote, a servant told me Shi Yunggui had already been cured. I didn't think much of it after all. The Shi family wielded immense power. Perhaps they'd found some master healer to cure him. I never could have imagined that Chen Yueshu had stolen the antidote while I was weakened. Before long, the door opened and closed. Open your eyes. Chen Yueshu yanked back my blanket and looked at me with contempt. Did you hear that? Every honor you've received from Shi Yunggui is thanks to me. He loves me so much that he's even willing to use his own marriage to keep you tied to his side, clearing away obstacles for me. Sister, I called softly, does my antidote work? Chen Yueshu raised an eyebrow, smug as ever. Go tell him yourself. Let's see who he believes. No need. I closed my eyes wearily. A heartless, treacherous person isn't worth my breath. Inside the private room of the inn, a man stepped out from behind the screen. Zi Yunggui guards you so closely, as if he fears the slightest lapse might allow me to succeed. Yet here you are, eagerly coming to me. Greetings, Your Highness the Crown Prince, I curtsied. The Crown Prince helped me to my feet and asked with concern, are you all right? I had no energy for small talk and got straight to the point. I know what Your Highness desires. Upon hearing this, the Crown Prince waved his hand dismissively and sat down. Go on. The poison that injured Shi Yunggui all those years ago came from the western regions, and in recent years, the third prince has been closely associated with merchants from the western regions. In the imperial court, he holds as much sway as Your Highness. How dare you, the Crown Prince snapped sharply. Who gave you permission to speak so recklessly about state affairs? Your Highness desires my antidote, is that not so? I knelt and pressed on. Silence filled the room for a moment. The Crown Prince pinched the bridge of his nose and waved for me to rise. That is no ordinary poison. It is a secret elixir from the Western Region's court. My father's health is failing, and my third younger brother grows ever more arrogant. I need the antidote to stabilize the court. The Emperor, I ventured cautiously. The Crown Prince nodded. Indeed. Fortunately, I detected it in time and put a stop to it. The poison hasn't deeply affected His Majesty. For the past few years, the imperial physicians have merely been keeping him alive. With the court in such turmoil, should the Emperor pass away, a power struggle between his two sons would surely weaken the nation's strength. It's been 3 years. The poison has likely penetrated deep into his internal organs and will be difficult to completely eradicate. Shi Yunggui's antidote was sent by the Crown Princess. Why doesn't Your Highness go to her to ask for it? The Crown Prince snorted derisively, his tone icy cold. She's nothing but a fool. After Shi Yunggui neutralized the poison, she not only threw away the remaining antidote she'd stolen, but she also destroyed every last bit of it in your chambers. I too was played by her. I believed she had the antidote and agreed to let the Empress bring her into the East Palace. But it turns out she's not only stupid, but also malicious. In that case, Your Highness, how about we make a deal? No sooner had the news spread that the Crown Prince had taken me as a secondary consort than Shi Yunggui burst into my room, seething with rage. Shuhe, we are already betrothed. The Crown Prince is forcibly taking my wife. Come with me to the palace and explain everything clearly to the Emperor and Empress. I shook off his hand. Your Highness is mistaken. Our marriage contract has been torn up, and the tokens of our betrothal have been returned. Shi Yunggui remembered. I had followed his wishes and broken off our engagement because the rumors were too troubling. He had proposed taking me as a concubine, vowing never to marry another wife. I refused, but he didn't take it to heart, thinking I was just being stubborn. He said he would come to carry me off whenever I changed my mind. How could the Crown Prince? He couldn't believe it. I was a woman who'd borne another man's child and had my reputation in tatters. Why would the Crown Prince still want to take me? I thought for a moment and laughed. Perhaps because he's deeply in love with me. No, he demanded, his tone almost commanding, a flicker of panic in his eyes. Why? I asked, feigning ignorance. You don't even like him. How could you possibly be happy marrying him? Happy? I don't care about that sort of thing. At least in the Eastern Palace, no one dares to speak to me out of turn. I looked straight into Shi Yunggui's eyes, emphasizing every word. You're blaming me, he retorted without hesitation. You're overthinking it, Prince. I shook my head. Shi Yunggui stared at me for a moment, then suddenly smiled. I get it. You're angry that I demoted my wife to a concubine, aren't you? If you don't like it, then you won't be a concubine. I'll have you carried in with great pomp and ceremony in a palanquin. I'm to be married into the East Palace soon. Please don't joke with me, Prince. As if a light had suddenly dawned on him, he muttered to himself, the Empress won't agree to you entering the Eastern Palace. That's right. You've been married before and have a child. Neither the Emperor nor the Empress will consent to you marrying the Crown Prince. But it doesn't matter. I'll marry you. I'll go back right now to prepare the wedding gifts and come for you. Wait for me. Without waiting for my reply, he dashed out. But I wouldn't wait for him anymore. The Empress may not agree to my entry into the East Palace, but when it comes to the Empire and the state, she has no choice but to yield. That evening, I entered the East Palace in a palanquin. Under the Crown Prince's cover, I disguised myself as a palace maid to treat the Emperor's illness. After staying up all night and finally managing to contain the poison's effects, I rubbed my sore, stinging eyes and boarded a carriage to leave the palace. West of the palace gates lay the Lin residence. The East Palace lay further on. As I passed the Lin residence, the sound of gongs and drums outside made it impossible for me to rest. I lifted the curtain to see Shi Yunggui, a bruise on his forehead, but a smile on his face, stopping in front of my family's estate. The servants at the gate looked completely bewildered. Shi Yunggui was in a good mood and didn't hold it against them. He slipped a red envelope into each of their hands. Go see if your young mistress is ready yet. Don't rush her. Tell her I'm waiting for her. Your Highness, our young mistress is married. Who are you referring to? Shi Yunggui's smile froze. His heart skipped a beat and his hand trembled slightly as he grabbed the servant's arm. Who got married? The eldest young mistress. Who is the eldest young lady? He pressed. The servant steeled himself and spoke his mistress's name, Lin Shuhe. You're lying. Is she still upset? Shi Yunggui pushed the servant aside, took a deep breath, and strode straight toward the mansion. It's fine. I'll just coax her back. My young lady entered the Eastern Palace last night. Shi Yunggui stopped in his tracks and turned stiffly. She won't marry the Crown Prince. She has a child. A child. Yes, there's a child. Ignoring the pointing and whispering of the surrounding crowd, Shi Yunggui mounted his horse like a madman and charged out of the crowd. Cold sweat beaded on my palms, and the unease in my heart grew more pronounced. After I fainted that day, Shi Yunggui took the old bachelor and the child away. I had never felt any attachment to them and had never asked after them. Sure enough, just as I rounded the corner, I saw Shi Yunggui standing in front of the Eastern Palace, holding the child. I stepped down from the carriage. As he hurried toward me, he was stopped by the guards. Shuhe, come back with me. I am now His Highness the Crown Prince's concubine. Please conduct yourself with dignity, Prince. What about the child? The Eastern Palace won't let you keep her. Shuhe, come back with me. I won't hold your affair with the Crown Prince against you, and I'll treat the child as my own. Will you come back with me? And I've already killed the man who hurt you. No one will ever disturb our lives again. He looked at me with eyes brimming with hope, and the child in his arms, as if sensing the adult's emotions, began to cry. They truly looked like a pitiful father and daughter who had been abandoned. I have no child, I said calmly. Shuhe, this is the daughter you carried for 10 months and gave birth to. Are you abandoning her? I have no child, I repeated. Lin Shuhe, are you really so heartless as to abandon your own flesh and blood? Our argument drew a crowd of onlookers. I looked him straight in the eye, speaking neither too loudly nor too softly, just loud enough for everyone to hear. When it comes to heartlessness, how could I possibly compare to Prince Yi? To ensure his beloved became the Crown Princess, he went so far as to have me abducted and sold to a remote, desolate place, a place where no one could find me, and from which I could not escape. After I returned to the capital, you had your servants spread rumors to ruin my reputation, causing me to be insulted and harassed. You tracked down those who had harmed me and let them hurt me all over again. You kept saying you'd marry me, but it was only because you feared I'd stand in Chen Yueshu's way. Zi Yunggui, I've done you no wrong. Why? Why have you driven me to this point? I simply fell in love with someone, yet I've been forced to endure such suffering. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably as I sobbed, questioning him word by word. I didn't want to cry. It's so humiliating. But my heart is so bitter, so bitter. Shi Yunggui's face was deathly pale. He stood there, teetering on the brink of collapse, his mouth opening and closing as he stammered. You found out. Shuhe, I know. I never thought you'd go missing. Let me explain. I only wanted to lock you up for a few days, but when I went back to look for you, both the slave dealer and you were gone. I searched for you for so long, I never gave up looking for you. I truly wanted to marry you. Forgive me, and let's start over. You love me so much. You'll forgive me, won't you? I wiped away my tears and stared at him in silence until the glimmer of hope in his eyes shattered, and the color drained from his face inch by inch. My words caused quite a stir in the capital. Whether they believed it or not, both Chen Yueshu and Shi Yunggui were dealt a heavy blow. In any case, I couldn't be the only one stuck in this quagmire. If we're going down, we're all going down together. Inside the Eastern Palace, Chen Yueshu was thrown at my feet, bound like a pretzel. Still oblivious to her predicament, she hurled insults at me. Lin Shuhe, I am the Crown Princess. This is insubordination. I'll report you to the Empress Dowager for high treason. Having had my fill of her humiliation, I tossed her a dagger and ordered, cut off 3 slices of flesh from her every day. Don't let her die, just keep her face intact so her lover won't fail to recognize her later. The taste of power is truly sweet. With just 2 sentences, my enemy was punished. Shi Yongui would linger near the Eastern Palace every day. Whenever I accompanied the crown prince, he would always stare at me obsessively from afar. Before long, the Shi family defected to the third prince's camp. On the night the emperor passed away, the third prince staged a coup, forcing the crown prince to abdicate. They swept through the palace like a tidal wave, reaching the Golden Hall, where the third prince ascended the supreme imperial throne amid cheers of support. When Shi Yongui burst into the Eastern Palace, I was kneeling in the Buddhist hall, dressed in white reciting sutras. Shuhe, the crown prince has fallen. Come with me. He seized my wrist, making a move to drag me away. I stared at him coldly, drew a dagger from my sleeve, and slashed the back of his outstretched hand. Are you satisfied now? He smiled indifferently, lowering his wounded hand and stopping his subordinates from approaching. My gaze remained fixed on his wound. Even your death wouldn't ease the hatred in my heart. This cut is what you owed me long ago. He frowned, unsure of my intentions. Then, his brow smoothed as if he'd realized something. He leaned in to take my hand. Only you can make me feel better. Don't just give me 1 cut. I'll take 2, 3, whatever it takes. Just as his hand was about to touch my sleeve, he suddenly collapsed, coughing up black blood and clutching his chest in agony. Does this feel familiar? I bent down, watching him writhe on the ground with glee, a sense of satisfaction rising within me. If I could do it all over again, back then I would have fed the antidote to a dog rather than give him a single pill. Shuhe, I'm dying. The third prince won't let me off. I crushed his fingers under my foot, letting his long pale knuckles turn to a bloody pulp beneath me. Does it hurt? Compared to the 3 years of torment I endured, this is nothing. The third prince. I draw out the words, pressing down with all my strength until Shi Yonggui's eyes roll back in agony. Only then do I continue. He must have been beheaded by now. And the Shi clan. I yanked the double heart pendant from his waist and flung it to the ground, where it shattered instantly. A centuries-old noble house, what a pity. With 9 generations executed, there can't be many left, can there? With that, I clapped my hands. One by one, the locked gates of the courtyard swung open, and a swarm of soldiers rushed in, slaughtering Shi Yonggui's men on the spot. In high spirits, I relaxed my brows as I watched Shi Yonggui writhe in agony from the poison's effects. He coughed up a mouthful of blood and collapsed to the ground, coughing violently. After a long while, a hoarse, choked voice rang out. You're not Shu. Shuhe wouldn't treat me like this. She loved me so much, she would never be as heartless as you. She would climb onto the wall holding a string of candied hawthorn berries and call me Brother Yoongi. She would stand under the peach tree holding a basket of flowers and smile at me. She would cry frantically by my bedside when I was sick and unconscious. How could she bear to... Tears welled in Shi Yonggui's eyes as he staggered, trying to pull himself up, so he knew just how much I used to love him. I rejoiced for him, I scolded him, and I lost my appetite with worry over his illness. But what about him? He trampled my sincere heart to smithereens. As the poison took effect in his body, he cycled through getting up, falling down, getting up, and falling down. That's right, Lin Shuhe is dead. She died in a mountain ravine 3 years ago. I had Chen Yueshu brought up. Days of torture had left her a shadow of her former self. You're both familiar with the poison from the western regions, aren't you? I toyed with a small porcelain vial in my hand. Chen Yueshu trembled as she knelt before me. Dear sister, I was wrong. I shouldn't have stolen your antidote to save Shi Yonggui. Please save me. I don't want to die. A few days ago, I had also forced poison down Chen Yueshu's throat. Not much, just enough to torment her. Shi Yonggui glared at Chen Yueshu, his eyes bulging with fury. What did you say? Chen Yueshu flinched, her gaze pleading as she looked at the porcelain vial in my hand. It was Shuhe who saved you back then. She damaged her heart meridians testing the medicine for you. I stole the antidote while she was in the throes of her illness and gave it to you. Sister, I know I was wrong. Please, give me the antidote. Shi Yonggui's face went deathly pale. His pupils dilated. He collapsed in despair and helplessness as if all his soul had been drained from him. There's only 1 dose of the antidote. My fingers went limp, and the porcelain vial slipped from my grasp, crashing to the ground beside Shi Yonggui. Chen Yueshu lunged at him like a madwoman, snatching the vial before he could. Trembling, she tipped it open and poured the antidote into her mouth. Shi Yonggui, who had been leaning against the wall in silence, suddenly burst into maniacal laughter. Heaven is mocking me. Ha ha ha. On the other side, Chen Yueshu, having swallowed the medicine, felt her entire body throb with pain and itch as if being gnawed by ants. Her limbs twisted contortedly as she rolled around on the ground, utterly unrecognizable. I never said the contents of that porcelain bottle were the antidote. Why did you rush to take it, sister? How vulgar and disgraceful. Throw her out. I waved my hand, ordering her to be cast into the mountains to die. Upon hearing the news about her daughter, my aunt rushed over, intent on fighting me to the death, but she was restrained by the guards and couldn't get within an inch of me. You worthless slut, just like your mother. If anything happens to my Shuhe, I won't forgive you. The widow of a bankrupt merchant raged at the crown prince's consort, and a quick-witted maidservant stepped forward to slap her across the face 20 times. Have you forgotten your place living in the minister's mansion? Aunt, it's true you've been by my father's side for many years, but as for status, you're not even a concubine. She was so flustered by my words, she couldn't utter a single sentence. After my mother passed away, my aunt brought Chen Yueshu to live in our home. At the time, I was still immersed in the grief of losing my mother and had no idea that my father and my aunt had a history together. Fearing that a scandal involving an affair with her own brother-in-law would ruin her reputation, she used the pretext of visiting family to settle permanently in the Lin household. Before I was abducted, she had never shown the slightest hint of any illicit relationship with my father. After Shi Yunggui brought me back, my father, disgusted by the damage to my reputation, turned his back on me. With no further reservations, she finally revealed her true colors in front of me. Even my disappearance 3 years ago was orchestrated by her. Shi Yunggui said he had me kidnapped for a few days, intending to release me once the furor died down and Chen Yueshu became the crown princess. But the slave trader took money from someone else and sold me to a remote, desolate place, cutting off my means of survival. That person was my aunt. Since she cares so much for her daughter, send her off. Make sure to tie her up tight, no. Better yet, sever her tendons. After dealing with my 2 enemies, the room fell silent. Shi Yunggui let out a wry smile. It's my turn now. He picked up the dagger I dropped, intending to slit his own throat, but a guard acted swiftly and snatched it from his hand. He can't die too easily. I took the dagger the guard respectfully handed me and put it away. Do you hate me that much? He looked at me with a face full of grievance. I ignored him and ordered the guard, sever his tendons. The guard acted swiftly. In the blink of an eye, a pool of blood had formed on the floor. Shi Yunggui gritted his teeth and said nothing. His clothes were soaked with cold sweat and his eyes held a look of resignation. Does this satisfy you? I shook my head and continued, sever his manhood. The composure Prince Sia had just regained crumbled instantly as the guard advanced toward him with the blade raised. His face twisted with humiliation as he cast a desperate, pleading glance my way. Shuhe, won't you leave me even a shred of a chance to live? Have you ever given me a way out? I retorted. His lips trembled slightly. He closed his eyes as tears streamed down his cheeks. I've wronged you. Kill me. I beg you. Kill me. Shi Yunggui, do you want to die? I won't grant your wish. You must taste every single torment I've endured. No matter how he pleaded, I would not relent. His cries were deafening, so I ordered my men to cut out his tongue as well. Sell him to the South Wind brothel. The emperor faked his death and staged a charade with the crown prince. After the 3rd prince was executed, the emperor abdicated in favor of the crown prince and retired to recuperate in peace. Won't you stay? As long as I am here, no one will dare to speak out of turn. The new emperor escorted me to the palace gates. I accepted my new household registration and travel permit, feeling quite content. The emperor promised. Our deal, I would cure the emperor's poison, and he would help me exact my revenge. Now that everything has settled, he has his empire and its people. I have my own magnificent landscape. Very well. The new emperor bowed his head with a resigned smile. My medical skills were passed down from my mother. Back in the inner quarters, I'd only studied them to pass the time. Now I have a new identity. Having broken free from my shackles, I carry my medicine basket and forge my own path. I didn't like that child, but she was alive, so I carried her to the orphanage and left some money behind. Over the past few years, I've traveled to many places. I've been to the misty, vast lands of Jiangnan, witnessed the Gobi Desert with its camel bells, and felt the breeze across fertile plains. Every year, I go to a different place to provide free medical care. Everyone praises me for my compassionate heart as a healer. I smile at it calmly, and once again find myself at the South Wind Pavilion, where I provide free care year after year. The people in this building have a special status. Some clinics refuse to treat them, deeming them bad luck. When Shi Yunggui was carried in, his eyes were lifeless. Upon seeing me, his gaze flickered slightly, and his lips parted ever so slightly, though no sound came out. Kill me. His lips silently formed. I smiled and shook my head, carefully lifting his robe to examine the affected area, taking his pulse and prescribing medicine. I even thoughtfully left him some jade complexion ointment, which caused the other young men in the house to complain that I was playing favorites. After all, his face was truly beautiful. Who knows how many customers it has brought to the house. The brothel owner was very pleased with my actions and slipped several silver notes into my hand. When Guinu first arrived, I thought he wouldn't live long, thanks to Dr. Zhao's intervention and your special visits each year to tend to his health. He's done well. The young men of Nanfenglu don't live long, but Guinu is a fortunate one. With you here, he'll easily last another 5 or 10 years. The surname Zhao, that was my mother's family name. I placed the silver notes on the table. This was a pro bono visit. I don't accept payment. Just as I was about to turn away, Shi Yunggui grabbed a small section of my sleeve. His tendons and meridians had all been severed, so he could only curl his fingers slightly to hook onto it. I effortlessly pulled my sleeve free from his grasp, bent down, and patted Shi Yunggui's cheek reassuringly. Don't worry, I'll be back this time next year to extend your life. The end.